Welcome, everybody, to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. I'm Rob Abrazino. That's Jason Kloster, and we've got a very special guest online with us this afternoon, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the great state of Maine. Am I right?
That's right. Right at the ocean.
It's Ryan, and we're going to debate on the last name for a minute. You know, we know what it is because we got a clue. Yeah. So Ryan Hamre of Hamre Forge, welcome, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. So we were just discussing this a second ago, how to pronounce the last name, because we have been all saying Hamre Forge. It's quite natural, of course.
Yeah.
Hamre Forge. It's an old term, I think, but that's not in fact the case in this situation.
No, my ancestors hail from Norway, so they're old school Vikings, and so
Nice.
Hamry, although it is hammer in Norwegian. So we went with the hammer theme. We have a crest that it's hanging in our wood shop and has hammers on it. And so we kind of modified some of that to make our logo. And so it's Hamre Forge is the company, but we do have hammers on there. So it's kind of confusing. So, but a lot of people go with Hamre Forge, but it is Hamre Forge.
All right. Well, we're gonna do better from now on our end. I promise.
You're good.
Speaking of which, we've your name has come up a lot. So we've launched a couple new guns. That early on this year, late last year, early this year, that have your grips and fingerprints all over it. I'll let Jason kind of get into it, but man, a lot of buzz at SHOT Show. We've had a lot of cool components on some of our new exclusives, and these definitely drew a lot of attention. So
yeah. I mean, two of the big highlights for SHOT Show for us were both the ultimate carry titanium cylinder guns that feature the Hamre Forge AFR undercover stocks.
One on the table.
Yep, we have one here, and then we also did the North American Arms Rule 1 with the Hamre Forge NAA grips. Which, I mean, I told somebody this the other day. I hate the term game changer.
Yeah,
because it's so overused and it's so not applicable to when most people say it. But in this instance, these grips do change the game on how shootable an NAA can be. That's always been the issue with those guns. They're hard to shoot.
Yeah.
They're not fun to shoot. You really don't want to shoot them. But with these stocks on here, we sat there and shot that gun. We didn't want to stop shooting. Actually, we shot until we ran out of ammo, and we're like, dang, we should have brought some more. But it really makes these guns a viable option as a really ultimate deep concealment pistol.
There's no doubt. The first kind of grip that I felt on the titanium gun, I love the texture of it. I know it's a P, what do we call that? A PA12 is the material you use, is that correct?
It's a PA12. It's just a polyamide. It just means it's a nylon.
So it's a little not quite as soft as pure rubber, not quite as hard as a G10 grip. I noticed that right away. It's got a great feel. But as Jason said, on the NAA gun, what a difference it made. I shot it as well, and gosh, it puts a lot in your hand for such a tiny gun. It really is a massive improvement.
Yeah, no, so the NAA, I've been an NAA fan for a really long time. We would use the little mini revolvers as kind of like a critter dispatcher or whatever if we were shooting something. And so when we started making grips, we really wanted to kind of revolutionize the grip for the NAA, and I thought that there was something there. And so we really were kind of ambitious. We're like, all right, let's move the hand way up the back strap, and let's put some material up on the top of the back strap so when you're pulling it out of your pocket or whatever, the hammer doesn't catch. So like we were taking all these considerations, they were all on the table. And then we were like, all right, let's bring the front strap way forward. And so, on paper, we went through kind of a couple iterations and stuff and finally settled with what you guys have in your hand there. And we're really proud of it. I mean, like you said, it is a lot of fun to shoot. Yeah. And just this last weekend, we were shooting our NAA mag, and we had some plates probably at, it might have been 30-something feet. And, we're dinging plates at 30 feet with this little tiny micro gun. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And it is a lot of fun. It is so fun.
Yeah.
Well, it is. And the thing that people forget about, if you just make a standard grip bigger, it still keeps your hands so close to the controls that they're hard to manipulate. Mm-hmm. But by setting everything back the way Ryan did on these, it's actually very easy to manipulate the hammer and the trigger in a normal firing position. So that's why I believe there's so much more shootable. Like we had the same instance. We were shooting, I think we were shooting up like 3 yards and we got out, I think 10 yards is that one little bay that we were shooting at. And at 10 yards, I mean, we were able to keep it in the A-zone area of a target pretty easy, which with the traditional setup is not so much.
It was way more comfortable to shoot than I anticipated, honestly.
And the pocket clip just makes the gun super easy to carry. I've been, just as an experiment, you know, because every time we do something like this, I always want to try these stuff out first before we just go throw it out there and say, hey, this is great for pocket carry, and then find out later, no, it's really not. And so for Ryan sent me a set of these, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and I stuck them on a gun that I had and carried them around for weeks, just clipped in a pocket or a pair of, gym shorts in the waistband, and it just works great.
Well, when we did the video, which I know you've seen, Ryan, when we took it out to the range, the NAA gun, and Jason, I hadn't really seen the clip in action, so to speak, but he kind of put it in his pocket, and it really looks like a small pocket knife. I mean, it was absolutely 100% concealed, the most concealed a gun can be. I don't think you can get more
without putting it in a position where you can't even access it.
Well, yes,
you know,
well, you know what I mean. But that clip makes it look like a regular old little pocket knife, and that can reach out and touch you, I guess. So
a cool thing on that pocket clip, we actually used a very standard 3-hole design for that pocket clip. And that pocket is a Spyderco 3-hole design pocket clip. So any Spyderco clip will work. So
that's good to know.
If someone wanted to order those strips from us but not buy the pocket clip, you know, because we have a variety of titanium pocket clips on our website, they could go out and order any Spyderco 3-hole pocket clip and throw it on that grip. So it's the same pattern. It'll work with all those pocket clips, which that was another fun thing that we wanted to do, just to make it really common use and not proprietary.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
No, that's great, and it is ambidextrous. We ordered the holes where it's drilled on both sides, so you can carry it on a right presentation or a left-hand presentation. Like for me, I set mine up left-handed because it was going to be pretty much as a get off me type gun situation, and not necessarily a primary type carry gun. So it really works well for that. You were talking about dispatching critters and stuff. For down here, we have such a big snake issue in the summer. Yeah. And so I've gotten to where now
turkey season.
Yeah, I'll load this with 5 rounds of CCI shot loads, and that'll be my snake gun. Now I don't have to put snake loads in my whatever Smith & Wesson or Ruger revolver that I'm carrying in the woods. I don't have to download it with snake loads. I can just load this with 5 rounds of snake and clip it in a pocket in a bino harness, whatever. You don't even know it's there. Yeah. But if you need it, you're ready to go. So.
And you sell these in kind of the right-left pair, the one side left hook, and then the right-left pair with the hook for the J frames. Okay. Yeah. Not for the NAAs. The NAAs just come kind of standard as we have it here.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Okay. It actually we one of the considerations that we had too. So I have an NAA pod unloaded right here. And one of the considerations that we had, even with kind of the clip and screw configuration, was I did anticipate that there would be more people that carried this on their left-hand side. And so we actually made the primary takedown screw to take these grips off is accessible on the right side. But if you had a clip on your left-hand panel, you wouldn't have to take the clip off to take the grips off. So the screw is still accessible if you have the clip on the left-hand side. If it's on the right-hand side, the clip, this is a right-hand side clip, that does cover up the screw. But I mean, there's all these considerations that we make in a lot of these designs and testing and just kind of getting feedback. But yeah, we made it fully ambidextrous, thinking that more people would kind of put it on the left-hand side. But it can work on either.
Yeah, it's everything that you've put out so far that I've tried has been really well thought out. There's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of companies that have really cool new materials or processes, but you can tell they don't really carry guns. And so when the final product comes out, it's like, man, it's a little lacking. But Ryan, you can tell is a gun guy and actually uses his stuff. And so it's really a lot of times when stuff comes out, I usually have to go back and forth. Hey, can you tweak this? Can you tweak that? I'm like, everything that he sent us so far is like, man, this stuff's ready to go. We don't need to do anything to it. So I've been really, really happy with it.
Ryan, what's the Cliff Notes version of the history of the company? Enlighten us there a little bit.
Yeah. So as I was saying, kind of before the call with some of the jokes about tech support, I've been in technology. My whole career has been in tech, big tech. And for 20 years, I was a senior solutions architect or infrastructure architect within Fortune 100 to 500 companies. Wow. And so my wife, she has always really wanted us to have our own business. She's like, Ryan, you're so smart, Ryan. Just do something with on your own. Do your own business. I'm like, but what do I do? So I didn't really know. And in March of 2023, I was in a large layoff. So I was a part of 9,000 people who got let go. Yeah. And so it was really the prime opportunity to see, what we could do. And so I wanted to make something to replace some grips that I had used for a very long time on a revolver. And I used a combination of a Barami hip grip and a Tyler T grip. And I wrapped the whole thing in tape to make sure everything was secure. And that was kind of like my lazy man carry, if I'm bumming around the house or, if I'm butchering animals or, working, building something, whatever, I just have that. I didn't want to have, a big old gloss with reloads and all this stuff. So that was my carry, and I carried that for like 10 years. And then, so we wanted to make kind of a all-in-one version. And so that's what we started with. And it was kind of, I saw that there was the ingredients for a viable product and a viable company. And so then we just continued to invest in that. As a family, this is a family business, and we're all involved in the business, whether it's shipping or receiving or media. My son does a lot of the modeling, and we do all our own tech in-house. So it really is a family business. And we've just continued to invest in that to the point that, we have some pretty advanced kind of technology to make these grips. And so that's been the last year and a half, almost 2 years.
That's amazing.
How'd you come up with the material to make the grips out of?
Yeah. So we originally started with 3D printers that were just like a nozzle and it was just, making a thing. And it didn't allow us to have a one-piece LCR grip. And really, I would attribute the LCR grip as putting us on this process of where we're at now. The technology that we landed on allows us to do a one-piece LCR grip, and it's with it's a powder-based technology, and it uses a big fancy oven, and there's lasers involved, and it's like kind of this magic machine that you put in powder and it spits out grips. And so it's really advanced. It's a whole new, really technology that we had to pick up and learn and invest in. And so that's how we're making the grips now.
I'm amazed by that. The 3D printing and suppressors are being made that way. I mean, so many parts and so many things in general. I'm just amazed by it. I've not seen it up close. I'd love to take a look.
The metal 3D printing is really amazing. I know what they're doing with this stuff.
Yeah, it blows my mind. But that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that really attracted us for this grip for the Ultimate Carry Titanium project was the stocks are super lightweight. So you get the full backstrap coverage. You get the the shootability of a bigger grip without the weight penalty, which is really, really nice. The texture is fantastic.
It is.
It sticks in your hand, but it's not grabby like rubber.
Right.
So it doesn't stick to concealment.
Right.
But it does. It's not as hard as wood or G10 or something like that as well. Now you guys worked with our friends Daryl Bulkey and Brian Eastridge at American Fighting Revolver pretty hand in hand on this Ultimate Carry grip or this AFR grip design. Tell us a little bit about that process. I know there was a lot of back and forth with Daryl and Brian, and those guys are great, and they know the nuances of what makes a good grip versus a great grip.
What's it like working with amateurs like them? Tell us.
No. I said one thing I've said multiple times in this entire process is it really is an honor to be working with guys that I've looked up to for many years. So, guys that, otherwise I've never exchanged words with. I've been lurking on forums. I see these guys post, and I kind of glean wisdom from a lot of these guys. But now, like, getting to work with some of these guys is a huge honor. And with our LCR, actually, we did work with Volke on the LCR and Rhett Newmeyer. And both of them had massive design input with what we were doing with the LCR. And so Volke really has been an indispensable resource from the beginning. And so now watching that relationship progress and now working with AFR and, Brian with a Y and Eastridge there and AFR. So that's been really neat. And to have the AFR UCs, that was a lot of fun. The way the AFR came about was really, really funny and cool. And so to see where it is now has just been fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, they did a great job designing it. And, I've talked to those guys probably like every day, at least 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And they were very complimentary of how Ryan just like, okay, let's do it. It wasn't that usual manufacturer pushback of like, well, we know better kind of deal. And he was real responsive. And I tell you, really, I was paying attention to what you were doing kind of on the scene because the hook grip whole concept is something I've dabbled back and forth with. The Barami deal, I never really liked it because the angle of that grip was weird when you kind of set the gun at a kind of a real forward cant. And then when DeSantis came out with that hook grip, I tried it for a while, but that hook was real shallow, never worked well. I just didn't like it. And so I kind of had given up on the whole deal. And then when I saw Ryan's first, grips coming out with a hook on there, I was like, this looks a little more better thought out than the others. And then as they just kept getting refined, and the current one, especially with the AFR grip with the right hook panel, it's fantastic. I've got them on 2 different guns. I have an LCR 22 that I have a hook on, and I also have a 432 with a hook on it. Mm-hmm. And man, it just works. It sets the gun almost as a perfect perpendicular, appendix style, neutral cant type of draw stroke. They're super lightweight. The hook is aggressive enough to where it stays put, but it's not sticking way out. So where it's not concealable. Mm-hmm. It's just really the perfect grip for that type of carry. And one of the things that we kind of debated back and forth with the AFR guys and with Ryan is about how we wanted to package these ultimate carry titanium guns. Now, should we put them with the hook, without the hook? Yeah. And I think what we decided to do was just put the standard panels in there, but we also included there will be a card inside the box,
right?
To where you can purchase just the right-handed hook panel directly from Hamre Forge at a pretty good price. I think it was like $19 or something like that. So if you want that panel, now you can get it at a discount if you buy one of the guns. So it's a great deal, and I encourage people to buy that panel. I think you'll use it a lot more than you realize, especially on these 13-ounce ultimate carry ties. And so for people listening who are going to be interested in buying one of these guns, when you get the gun from the dealer, it's gonna, if you look at the box, and I don't know if you get this on camera, Chris, but the box will have this yellow sticker on there. And so this sticker, which says that the Hamre Forge grips are in the box. So Smith & Wesson, the gun will come with the standard Smith & Wesson rubber boot grip that's on all the guns. But there will also be the Hamre Forge stocks inside the box. So you actually get 2 sets of stocks. And also in the bag with the stocks, you get the card for the discounted hook if you want to purchase that separately. So, and another little nice feature that Ryan did, which he thinks of everything, I like this guy, I like working with him, is that he included 2 Allen wrenches with the box because it's a different size Allen wrench for the Hamre Forge as there is for the Smith & Wesson rubber grip. So you don't have to go rummage around and try to find 2 different types of Allen wrenches to take both of them off. They both come in this bag.
Nice.
So really well thought out. Nice package, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Toolkit ready to go?
Yeah. So what else you got coming out? I mean, I know you've been teasing the internet with K-frame grips, and tell us a little bit, and you can also tell us a little about your kind of collaboration with Craig Spiegel.
Yeah, no. Again, another massive honor is to be able to work with Craig. So I love getting phone calls from him. I'll just get a phone call out of the blue and, hey, Ryan, and we get to chit chat about stocks. So as a company, we started with the Hamry hook on the J frame, and we really wanted to. I hate to say the word perfect, but we really wanted to do a real good nod to concealed carry boot grips. And so that's been really the bread and butter of our company, is concealed carry boot grips. But really, near and dear to my heart is some of the larger frame guns, and kind of the golden era of stocks and revolver shooting. We're kind of a little bit past that, but I think, with a lot of the project that LIPSEY'S is doing now, they're reigniting this kind of a new golden era of revolvers. And so with that, we want to offer stocks, and for the L and K frame and even M. And so we have been teasing some of the grips. So I have a K frame. This one here has been making the rounds. Whoa. And I really love this gun right here. This 2-inch K with a square butt.
Oh, yeah. This
thing has been just phenomenal. And so we've been able to get some nice Spiegel cut there on the panel, and then this panel is Spiegel's as well. And so these are straight up Spiegel case frame square butt stocks, and they feel exactly like his. So they're hard to get right now. If you were to try to find some Spiegel originals with wood, they're costly as well. So we are very excited to be able to offer these to the public very soon. But we're looking at doing round butts as well as round to square conversions. So we're just trying to hit everything and offer these as Spiegel offerings through Hamre Forge.
Well, and for the guys and girls out here that are listening and that are just big revolver fans, and maybe people who have a collection of older K and L frames with original Spiegels, what Ryan's doing is kind of what we're trying to do too. We're bringing out these mountain guns and everything that are reincarnations of these old classics that now you can take these new guns and go shoot them. You can wear them out. If you got an older gun, you're kind of like, man, I don't know if I really don't want to just go out and just bang away with full power 357 Magnums to this gun. Now you got a gun that you can that has the same look and feel. But Ryan's doing the same thing with the stocks. If you got an original set of Spiegels that are worth a ton of money now, you don't necessarily want to go be going hog hunting and busting through a bunch of briars and stuff with those on your gun. Buy his grips, put them on your gun. You get the same feel. When you're shooting a gun, you won't know the difference. Right. But then now you can go keep your nice ones for when you go to the barbecue or go to to show off to your friends and family. So it's really we're kind of doing the same thing. We're on the gun side, he on the stock side. So it's really a nice match here.
So that's a great segue to some more exclusives, right? I mean,
of course, yeah, naturally. Yeah.
Nothing we can discuss today.
Well, it's funny when he sent me a picture. I don't know, maybe a month ago of some K-frame grips. I said, "We'll be talking soon. Don't worry." So I was like, "Oh yeah, we're in."
Where's Andrew?
Yeah, exactly. So no, it's I think. I think this is going to be a good long standing relationship because, not every project is going to be a fancy walnut project. There's going to be projects that need utility style grips, but if you can have utility and the function of the original beautiful wood grips that we've had, that's a win for everything.
And the lightweight,
and the weight,
certain
too.
Circumstances like that.
People don't forget. It's funny, and I don't know. I didn't know if I told you this, Ryan, but when we met, I have an old original 629 and 686 mountain gun from the original runs in my personal collection. And when we got the new guns in, my old guns actually weighed a little bit more. And what we figured out was because the Hogue rubber grips are just heavier than the wood grips. And so people don't forget that rubber grips are heavy. It's just naturally a dense material. Yeah. And so when you go to these type of materials, you can drop weight and still keep the function of this. And honestly, especially for concealed carry guns, I'm not a big fan of rubber just because it gets tacky and gets sticky, especially over time. Yeah. And this eliminates that issue. So, and I'll tell you, we went I took about, I don't know, 20 or so sets of these stocks when he sent them in and put them on about 20 different guns. So I wanted to make sure that, there wasn't going to be any gaps in the seam. And, man, everything just made it up tight. Everything looked great.
They're air.
I mean, you can look. They're
They're
seamless.
seamless.
Yeah, you did a really nice job, Ryan, of putting together a project that's, like I told you the other day, a project that I think is worthy of being on probably the ultimate, lightweight carry revolver out there right now. And I think it's just a really nice package. I'm super happy about how these turned out. The original UC obviously has been a tremendous success. And this titanium gun, some people are like, it drops, 3-4 ounces. What's the big deal? Somebody, I don't remember where I read it, but somebody made a great point and said that, I don't know, 3 or 4 ounces is about like 25 quarters or whatever.
Yeah.
And said, take a roll of those and put them in your pocket.
Right.
And see, that's just extra that you're knocking off. It adds up.
Yeah.
Over, a quarter of a pound adds up.
Yeah.
And so I think people will really be happy. But the good thing about it is with these stocks, even with this lightweight gun, even with the more snappier, hollow point type 32 H&R ammo, very, very comfortable to shoot. The recoil is very soft. The way that they designed these stocks with where this pad kind of comes out like this, it really positions your finger in the right position and it doesn't beat yourself up. Daryl knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speed loader cut, so no issues running speed loaders. These are going to be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Anything else you want to add, Ryan?
To kind of piggyback on something you've said there, one of the neat things about the technology that we're using is we don't need to tool up for a bunch of mold or jig. So, for a lot of wood grips, if you're to say, hey, we need a pair of wood grips, a guy can knock out a single custom, right? But then you're like, okay, let's do 20 of these. And then like the guy, the woodworker, whatever, it's like, all right, do I do jigs and routers and CNC? And, if you get into CNC, you're programming the machine. And, but then if you're talking molds, it's hard to justify making a mold and injection molding 20 pairs of grips, or maybe even 100 or 1,000. You're talking like these larger quantities to recoup the expense of that tooling. And this manufacturing process allows us to, to say, oh, you want 20 Roper style grips for a Colt? Yeah, let's do it, and we can do that and kind of iterate through that. If you're like, this part doesn't feel like the Ropers I have, we can modify that on the fly and not have to, make a new mold. So it's a really neat technology, and I think stocks is a really good fit for what we're doing.
Absolutely, because there's so many different types of grip frames. I mean, just in the Smith & Wesson catalog alone, between round butt, square butt, you got J's, K's, L's, N's. You got all this different type of little new, and you've got, quite honestly, trust me, we've learned this through some of the other projects we've done. Current day frames versus ones that are 25 years old, not necessarily the same. So they've changed a little bit. So, it's easy for you to have a legacy, a pre-2000 era K-frame grip versus a post. Whereas, like he's saying, somebody who's doing mold injection or making CNCs and stuff, man, there's just not a lot. They would lose their butt in that. So, really, really neat process. I think it's really cool. The LCR grips are fantastic. Now, one cool thing about the LCR, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that the mag or the cylinder release is positioned, you can do a left-handed hook on an LCR. Is that correct? Yeah.
So you say that now, and this might be dropped, and I'm going to get so many emails like, when's the left hand coming out? So we get a lot of emails like, hey, can you make a left hand this? And I'm like, no, we can't do it because of the cylinder release and ejecting the shells. But with the LCR, we have tested it and worked with it a bit. And we are looking at doing a left-handed LCR hook. So it should work well. It's not going to be cut for speed reloaders. And the reload is going to be kind of impeded a bit. But it is very able to be carried with a left-hand hook, which will be kind of a surprise gun. So
yeah, right. Well, it makes a great setup for a backup gun. So
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's funny. Talking to Daryl at one of the at the Snub Summit Chuck Haggard and Daryl did a really good segment on non-conventional carry, ankle carry, all kind of different pocket carry. And those guys both ran Hamre hooks on their J-frames, even for the ankle guns and the pocket guns. And the reason why is that if you ever have to draw those guns, you're not going back into an ankle holster, or and it's difficult. A lot of times you draw your pocket holster and it's out on the ground somewhere. That allows you to just be able to slip it back into your waistband very easily and be back ready to be back in action. And so it was really actually pretty well thought out. And after that, I remember I put the hooks on my 432 and said, and even though I usually carry an ankle rig, I just leave it on there. It doesn't impede the concealability at all, but it gives you options. If you're in a situation where you're like, especially if maybe you're driving, ankle carry is great for in the car because your hand's right by your ankle there. Yeah. But then you want to get out and you're going into a gas station late at night or whatever else. You could pull it out, slip it in your waistband, and you've got options right there. So the Hamre hook stuff, even if you're not going to primarily use it, it still makes a lot of sense to have them on your gun.
There's kind of two usages of the hook that I thought was pretty clever. One guy was in a class and they had to do a one-handed reload with a revolver, and he took and he one-handed popped the shells out, cylinders swung out, and he takes the hook and he drops that hook right on his pocket, and the cylinder's hanging out. And so then with one hand he goes and reloads and uses the hook for his one-handed reload. And I was like, well, that's pretty darn clever. And then another guy, they were doing some beach type carry. So they have trunks and no shirt on, and they had the hook tucked into their boxers underneath the cinch strap of their swim trunk. So I'm like, sheesh, you can now carry, shirtless and have something on you in deep, pretty low profile. So, a lot of people are coming out with stuff and applications of this that I'd never even anticipated. But it's just another tool in the toolbox, and we're happy to, be able to provide that.
That'd be our next video, Rob on the beach, concealed carry methods.
Hey, ladies.
Have you noticed any bulges, ladies?
Nobody wants to see that. Well, hey, man, we are really, really excited. We're glad you made a little time for us today. And as likewise. As people see this, it's the end of February, the very last day of February, as a matter of fact. We're excited because people will actually get to touch and feel these pretty soon because they're going to be out in the wild here. Like I said, as people see this video,
both of these models will start shipping the first week of March.
Yeah.
So
as you see this, they'll be trickling out there. So we'll.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're fired up about that. It's again great to have you on this Friday afternoon. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and it's been an honor working with you guys. And we're very excited to see what happens with this, and also potential future projects. So
absolutely. Tell us where to find you.
Looks like a hammer, sounds like a Hamry. So we got that straight. I know it's at Hamre Forge on Facebook and Instagram and X.
Yep.
Formerly known as Twitter, as everyone knows. Yep. You can find him there. Follow this guy. This is cool stuff. And you know where to find us at LIPSEY'S Guns on Facebook when we're not banned, Instagram and X, all the same places. So again, Ryan, thanks a lot. It's been great.
Follow his stuff on the socials because he's always got pictures of really cool guns with cool stocks on them
and knives too. By the way, you've got a lot of cool knives and things like that as well.
I started as a knife guy, so now doing gun stuff is awesome. So we try to put out a bunch of content that hopefully people like and enjoy, and gives people ideas.
Could I, if I sent you like my favorite spatula or something, you could rig me up with a cool grip on it, or barbecue tool, maybe some barbecue tools, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I'm a marketing guy, so I got to think of these things.
We can put grips on everything. We can.
All right. It's, that grease, it's slippery.
I know. This is a great application for it. So we'll work something out. You send me your spatulas, and we'll see.
That'll be a Rob exclusive. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll put a hook on them. You can hang them on.
Dude, that'd be.
He can hug it in a swimsuit.
if that is not on the shelves by like summer, I mean, we're missing the boat, man.
The Lipsey spatula. The Lipsey's
There you
exclusive.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
I got 10% of that.
Yeah,
Okay, Ryan, thanks a lot, man. It's been great.
Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate
Hey,
it.
thank you very much. It's been a great.
All right, take care, and everybody else. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, aim higher.